Hello, this is Gary at Jack Raven Bushcraft. Thank you for watching our video. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I take with me in terms of fire lighting kit. So what bits and pieces do I take with me when I venture into the woods. So this is on the back of a few videos I've done recently on fire lighting, and so invariably the question then arises, well, what is it that you take with you? So I'm going to go through that right now. So this is my fire lighting kit. It's in a tobacco tin, fairly standard. Advantages: it's strong, it's robust. I've also got potentially a container here as well, a metal container that I could use to boil water, to purify water. I could also use it as a tin to char various materials as I was going. Downside, of course, this isn't entirely watertight. It's mostly watertight, but if it was to be submerged for a period of time, then it's got to let the water in. So it's green, so put this down on the forest floor. I mean, okay, it has got some white bits on it there, but nonetheless it is going to blend in pretty well. So I've just got a bit of orange duct tape, gaffer tape around it. It's also secured here with a Ranger band, or described as a Ranger band. This is just a bit of bicycle inner tube actually, which in itself is a useful piece of tinder. So this is flammable. So what have I got inside? I've got two things in here in essence, or two broad categories. So I've got ignition methods, so things that I can use to light my fire, and then I've got some tinders, so things that I can light. So if we look at the ignition methods first, a lot of the survival books, bushcraft books, they talk about carrying 3 different means of lighting a fire with you, and this makes a whole bunch of sense. Because different ignition methods work better, or somewhat better, with different ignition sources than others. Different ignition sources work with different tinders, and so having a variety gives you more options. Now, here, what I've done, of course, I've got 3 ways of lighting a fire. They're all in the same tin, so this in some ways this is a kind of a weakness, because if I lose this tin, then potentially I'll lose 3 methods, or all of my ability to light a fire. So you either need to think about spreading those bits out so that they're not all in the same place, or potentially a little bit of duplication. So one of the things I've got here is a lighter, but I've also got a lighter just in my trouser pocket. I've also got a fire steel. It could well be, and lots of people do have a fire steel on the sheath of their knife. So just think about that, and make sure that if you don't lose everything in one go. So spread things around a little bit. So yeah, I've gone for here. I've got the turbo flame lighter. So these burn at 1350 degrees, I'm led to believe, by the manufacturer. So that's going to light pretty much anything. I've then got a little Fresnel lens. These are great, really small, really lightweight. So yeah, it doesn't take up any space in your pack. So in some ways, I think that this thing about taking 3 ignition methods, you could easily up that to 4 by sticking a Fresnel lens in. Of course, downsides on a day like today, there is no sun. The sky is completely overcast, so that is not going to work. But nonetheless, if you get that little break in the cloud, you only need sort of 10-15 seconds, and you're good to go with one of these. And then I've got a fire steel, so Light My Fire Scout. This one is this is my go-to brand of fire steels. Fire steels essentially are my kind of go-to method of fire lighting, so you can't go far wrong with one of those. Then when we come on to things that we can ignite, so my various tinders, I haven't got many tinders in here. And the reason for that is because, or for me, bushcraft is about it's a connection with the natural world. It's an exploration of the natural world. So when our hunter-gatherer ancestors kind of stuck their head out of their hut in the morning and looked out into the forest, well, there was the supermarket, the DIY shop, the clothes shop, the chemist. Everything's out there. It's just a case of knowing where to look, when to look, and essentially how these things can benefit us. So translating that into tinders, for me, bushcraft is all about natural tinders. And of course, if we go back to the mantra of bushcraft is about knowledge and not kit, well, I'm carrying that in my head. I've all of that knowledge around the various tinders that I can use and so on. I know that. And so if I go out into the woods, then my preference is to wander off and find natural tinders and to use those for my fire lighting. However, there could be occasions when you need to get a fire going quickly. So it might be that you've got caught out in a sudden downpour and you're soaked and you're wet and you're cold and you need to get warmed up. So you need to get a fire going. It could be falling into a puddle, a ditch, a river, those kinds of things. And similarly, you need to get your fire going quickly. It could be that everything is just absolutely sodden, and that does happen from time to time. You get out there and you just can't find dry tinder, and so therefore it seems to make some sense to carry a few bits and pieces with you, at least that are going to allow you to light a fire quickly if you should need to do so. So again, I've got another bit of little bit of rubber inner tube. I've got so Fire Dragon bioethanol fuel. So these are sold as a tablet, actually as a fuel source. So if you're using the old-fashioned army hexamin burners or that kind of thing, then you can use these. You put them in trangias as well, for that matter. But they also work particularly well as a ignition, so as a tinder to get your fire going. This as a full block, I mean, you could probably cut that into three and use it 3 different times. Or, as I say, if everything was absolutely sodden, rather than taking a chance, then just get the whole thing going and build your fire around it. So that's a really useful little thing to carry. Then I've got in a polythene bag, because as I say, my tin is not 100% watertight. So I've just got a few cotton wool balls in there. It's kind of 6 cotton wool balls in a little Ziploc bag, so they are watertight. And then what I've got to go with that is just a little pot of Vaseline. So just smear the cotton wool balls into the Vaseline, and that's going to be a winner. And then the other thing I've got is a cotton wool pad that I've just dipped into some melted candle wax, and these are great little fire lighting disco biscuits. These will burn sort of 4, 5, 6 minutes, so lots and lots of time for you to get your fire established around it. So as I say, for me, these bits are my backup. These man-made tinders. This is what I'm going to use if I can't find any kind of dry tinder, or if I need to get a fire going quickly. So yeah, this is typically what I'll carry with me if I'm heading off into the woods for a few days. Not saying that it's the only combination, that there aren't other things that you could swap in and out of this. It's just what I've kind of narrowed it down to over the years now. This is what I find works for me. Hopefully it's given you some useful guidance, at least, on things that you might want to take. We will get some more content out on our YouTube channel next week, so if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do so. In the meantime, guys, take care and stay safe.